Welcome back, everyone, to episode 13 of the CLG Faithful podcast. I'm your host, Nefarious, and joining me, as always, is my co-host.
What's up, guys? I'm Artrin.
Alright, and we're back to give you the latest of all things CLG. So first off, we have an open letter to the fans by the director of eSports, Trinitii. And this is posted on the CL Gaming website, and it's something that every CLG fan needs to read.
Absolutely. It was a really good insight as to kind of what the organization was thinking about in the past year or so, and their kind of dedication to being a little more open this year.
Not only that, it also talks a little bit about how our director of esports goes into approaching the various teams and what he's done over the past 6 months or so to improve all of the teams.
Yeah, about that. Yeah.
It's a very good read, and there's no TLDR, just read the whole thing.
Yeah, you really do. It's hard to give a TLDR on something like that just because there's a lot of emotion that he puts into the writing, and you need to read it to really get the whole gist of it.
And even if you don't follow all of the teams, I still think it's worth reading them just so you get a better sense of understanding of what the org is trying to do and where they're approaching it from in terms of their philosophy and methodology. And continuing more about that, just talking a little bit more about the infrastructure and general updates. CLG actually released an official podcast. They just call it the CLG podcast, and we'll link that in the show notes.
Yeah, it was actually it was an interesting watch. They had Devin Nash as well as, I forget the other guy's name that was in there. So Devin Nash is Malixia, and then I think it was Trinitii. I believe it was Trinitii. He was on there, and they were kind of talking about all the different things and how, like, all the different teams and how people are coming in and changing things and just the general atmosphere of the culture of CLG. And it was great to also have them talking about updates and the infrastructure and just in general. It was a good watch. It was pretty long though, so you have to kind of, if you're gonna go watch it, you need to put aside about 2 hours.
It's totally worth it, though.
It is.
And in case anyone's wondering, we are an unofficial podcast, but we'll continue doing our thing, and we'll love to see CLG do their thing.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So we'll put a link to both of those in the show notes underneath this video or this podcast, whatever you're happening to be listening to us through. And that way you can click on through those and do a read or a listen otherwise.
All right. But let's move on to League of Legends.
Yeah.
So
we got some League coming out this week.
Very good news, actually, this week in general. CLG Black, they actually make it into NACS 2017 Summer Split. Man, it'd be crazy.
Yeah.
We've got 2 teams in LCS.
We got 2 teams. What?
Yeah. So one thing about this team playing in the Challenger Series is that because it's affiliated with CLG, even if they were to win the Challenger Series, they cannot get promoted to LCS.
Exactly. They actually can't take part in the promotion series of NACS. If they happen to come in first, second after the playoffs of the NACS, their spot is actually given to whoever comes in third place, and then it kind of just goes down there from there until they find a team that is not affiliated with a team in the NALCS
right. So Echo Fox has Delta Fox, Team Liquid has Team Liquid Academy, and so on.
Yeah, exactly. So those teams, they can play and they can come in first, second, even including in the playoffs to go play for that playoff or that promotion spot, but they cannot go into the promotion spot. So they can still come in first. Their spot to be able to get promoted will be given up to someone who is not affiliated with a current LCS team.
Right, and this avoids any potential conflict of interest, or especially if a team were to be, say, getting relegated, such as Team Liquid last split, and they had Team Liquid Academy.
Exactly. Yeah. Or we had that kind of a bit of a bamboozle, it felt like, a couple years back when I believe it was Team Gravity. Basically, all their players went...
Curse Academy.
they all went to Curse Academy, and it was a little sketchy, but apparently it was all above board. Who knows? But it's just to help kind of stop that, and also just so that you don't have these things where, kind of like this Cloud9 and FlyQuest thing happened this year, where you have a team that now has 2 in and they need to sell a spot.
You mentioned that. This is exactly why this rule was put into place.
It is exactly the reason why that rule is coming in place. And if anyone is in Europe and listening to this, Europe does not have that rule in place yet. I believe it is coming. However, there is teams like Fnatic Academy and stuff like that still can get into the EU LCS via the EU CS this split. I believe it's the split after summer, so I think it's next spring split. That's going to be the rule in place there, but this year they're not doing it.
And at any rate, it's a little interesting, and the reason why we're talking about this is because it's leading up to franchising. That's the big thing that we've been hearing about for almost a year now. The league owners most definitely want it, at least in North America. They very much hate relegation because going to relegation can absolutely kill your org.
They really can. And I think Reginald was one who talked about it, where the LCS team just makes so much more money than any of the other teams that if they were to lose an LCS team, they aren't really sure what the organization as a whole would be able to do. A team big like CLG or TSM might be able to hold out with all of the great fans that they have, but a smaller team, like a new team like FlyQuest or even Phoenix One, getting knocked out of the LCS is basically killing all of your funding to go outside of League of Legends or just play League of Legends in general.
Right. Now, it is interesting so let's say CLG Black was not affiliated with CLG and they were to still win. Still unsure as to what would happen for the upcoming split, because Riot has confirmed that franchising will come at least to North America in 2018. I believe the LPL region, the Chinese region, just announced that they too will have franchising. So we'll see how things go. Now, not every team is guaranteed to be in LCS. So if you're a current team, you're not guaranteed to automatically get the spot. In regards to Overwatch teams, they actually have a franchise model with Blizzard, and you have to buy in your spot. Now, the rumors for those bids are they go up to as high as 15 million. Now, this is Overwatch. Here's the thing. League of Legends, you have to assume that it's going to be significantly more.
Significantly,
right.
I mean,
and if I had to guess, I'd say no less than 40 million. That's just a guess.
I don't think they would be around that cost. I think for teams that are already here, it might not be that much to buy in as a franchise. However, I guess they have to look at it. You're buying a franchise forever, so the cost is probably going to be high. So it might actually be that high. And one thing that would mean is that teams are going to need sources of outside funding.
Right.
They could either go to a bank or they could go to venture capital. And personally, I would rather CLG not have to do that, but I would also rather have CLG in the LCS. So if it came down to, look guys, we don't have enough money, we need the money to buy this spot, I would understand.
Now, just to be clear, this is us speculating. As far as the general rumors go, CLG is among the poorer teams financially, especially when you consider all the teams that are backed by venture capitalists and NBA teams. So as to what CLG would do, we have absolutely no idea. For all we know, the org could be very, very healthy, and they could have a lot of private funding or actually be backed, and we just don't know it.
Yes. We have no idea. I mean, you can really only base it off of what we see. They've got sponsors, and they've got a product shop, where I can buy a jersey for $70. So who knows?
Right. At any rate, as we get more news about franchising, we will continue to keep you updated.
Exactly.
But just going back to CLG Black, you can actually watch their VODs. One of the riders actually tweeted the links to the VODs, and as always, we'll put everything in the show notes.
Absolutely. So why don't we move on to CSGO?
What a
CSGO,
fantastic week
yeah.
for CSGO.
CLG.Blue was amazing. They literally came in and were like, hey, ECS, guess who's here?
It's playoff time?
It's like, yeah, it's almost playoff time. Almost. So the boys are making a good playoff push. So this week they played 3 times.
All right.
They played against NRG first. So map 1 was Cobblestone. It was a bit of a rough start for CLG. They were down 6-4 by round 10. However, by half, they had climbed back up and made it 9-6 CLG. Everyone but FNS was in double-digit kills, but FNS had very little death, so he was clearly almost being a scout. CLG lost second pistol round, but that was it. Afterwards, from there, they dominated. It ended up being 16-10 in favor of CLG on Cobblestone. Not one of their best maps. And then for map 2, I'm not exactly sure why. However, it needed to be rescheduled. It has been officially released now that May 2nd at 3 p.m. PST, map 2 will be played. So against NRG currently, we are 1-0. That means that hopefully if we can get that extra win on map 2 on May 2nd, that'll be awesome.
Right. And the next we played against Luminosity Gaming on Train. And man, one hell of a pistol round.
Holy moly. The pistol round was crazy. CLG was down 4v2. Koosta then got 2 amazing hot headshots with the USPS, my favorite gun. And then Ethan got one, bringing it down to a 2v1. With a double push out, they won the round. It was amazing. They basically got the kills, boom, defused the bomb, win. Second round, Cutler got a great 3K and then defused the bomb. CLG then went on to absolutely decimate Luminosity. By half, it was 12-3 for CLG. From there, it just gets better, and CLG dominated on Train 16-3. Koosta got 21 kills. Ricky got 20 kills. Just a great watch. If you want to see a great domination by CLG, watch this VOD.
They're just padding their KD at the end, aren't they?
Pretty much. So then Luminosity had the choice of the next map, and they thought to themselves, we just lost to CLG 16-3 on Train. Let's pick Train again. And they did.
See, that is some CLG logic here. We got crushed on this. We can take him again, right?
We could take him again there. So on the pistol round, it went really cleanly for CLG. Only Cutler went down. Round 2, though, was close. It was 3-1, and Showtime from Luminosity Gaming got 2 Deagle kills. And Ethan seemingly decided to try and knife him from smoke. It was kind of weird. Ethan was smoked. He heard the Deagle shots up in heaven going off, and he pulled out his knife to try and knife Showtime. Not sure what he was thinking.
Did you get a heart attack?
Anyways, I did actually have a bit of a heart attack.
CLG.
So he CLG. He got back to his senses though, pulled out his gun and killed Showtime, and then with maybe 1 second left, defused the bomb. So as you said, pretty much a CLG move. At half, it was 8-7 for CLG, but from that point on, they put on their try-hard hats and crushed Luminosity Gaming, just like they did on the second one, acing them on the second half of it, going 16-7 for the win. That means CLG went 2-0 against Luminosity Gaming, and if you read anything this week, there was a Yahoo eSports article written about these guys and this game and just the domination that CLG showed against Luminosity. Read that.
So next we were up against Rush, weren't we? And
yeah.
Tell me, what map were we on? Against Luminosity? What map did we just wreck them on?
We went choo-choo again, or on trade. So that's like trade 3 maps in a row. I don't know. I think map 1 CLG did get to pick, so they're like, well, we're kind of kicking butt. Let's go with Train again.
CLG hype train, full steam ahead.
Yeah. So CLG had a great start. They won the first 3 rounds really clean. In round 4, Rush's Blade had actually had FNS crawl underneath of him on top of bomb site at A site. He just kind of crawls. They kind of like just don't know each other are there, and they just crawled under one. It was really, really weird. Anyways, CLG FNS thought, hey, I wonder if there's someone behind me. Flicks around, mows down Blade, we win. And then round 5 was a really weird start. Ricky happened to toss a molly into the corner of CT A site where they would funnel out. And it lands as Akis and Ruru on Team Rush happened to be in that corner for some reason. So they got stuck in the corner, and then through RNGesus, the Molotov spread to that corner, and Ruru jumped on Aki's head, sacrificing his teammate so that Ricky didn't get a 2K with a Molotov.
That's hilarious.
It was pretty funny watch. Then koosta, all map, he went off.
No.
He and Ricky destroyed all map. CLG won train 16-8. Then they played for map 2 on overpass.
No train again?
No train, no 4 trains in a row. Luckily, we got to see a little different scenery here. We got a nice, truck. So, CLG must have been riding pretty high off that train win because they seemed to underestimate Rush in map 2, and they actually went down 5-1 early in the first half. However, they won round 7, making it 5-2, and then that started their comeback. By the end of half, CLG was up 8-7. They then won the second half pistol and snowballed super hard from there, taking the map 16-10. So, with this clean sweep, that means that CLG is in a super solid spot to get into the ESL playoffs. They have SK and Optic left to play before the end. I believe Team Liquid as well, but I'm not sure. I can't find that listed anywhere. However, the CLG subreddit does have it listed. I'm not sure. And they're in a pretty close situation with Luminosity, Optic, and Misfits for that final 6th place playoff spot. So let's go CLG. Next week, really give them your energy, guys, because they are going to need it.
All right.
Yeah.
So
let's move on to some Smash.
Let's go. So we're going to actually start with NAKAT this week. And he's playing in Smash Factor Toluca. Sahib?
I believe in Mexico.
Mm-hmm. That's correct. And he's playing in the Wii U singles. So he has actually started in Pool B2. And from there, in that particular pool, he goes 2-0 against Smash Factor player. I actually missed his name. Then he goes up against LCATX and Ramni Ozaki. 2-0 against all of them for a solid 6-0 in the group. And he takes first seed to the bracket.
Nice.
From there, in the round of 48, he gets a bye into the first round. 2-0's Viral. I'm assuming it's Viral. It's a VIRAL. And then 2-1 Smash Factor Sala. Then he goes to 3-1 against Lays. Actually,
I'm assuming it's Laz.
Not sure how to pronounce that one. Doesn't matter because he lost. So then, unfortunately though, NAKAT loses after that to Javi in 3-2, and this sends him to the losers bracket. From there, he plays against Hyuga in the losers top 6, and unfortunately he loses the 3-0. So this means NAKAT is tied for 5th place.
Yeah, so a pretty solid showing by NAKAT there. Top 6 is really good, especially when you're outside of your country and you're playing against a lot of players that you've never played against before.
Right. I mean, a lot of times there is a comfort factor in playing with familiarity or just people who you've seen a lot. You tend to know, exactly. They like to do this, they tend to favor this. Things like little tendencies that you tend to pick up.
Yeah, exactly. And when you come into a place, because they're in SoCal, so when you come into a place that's completely different, you got a totally different group of people to play against. It can be a little tough.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So then there's DreamHack going on right now. DreamHack Austin 2017, and our boy SFAT was there playing in Melee singles and Melee doubles. So why don't you give us the rundown on singles?
Sure. So actually not too much to talk about in singles. SFAT wins his pool C2, and from there he goes 2-3 against Wizra right off the bat. Unfortunate start, and he gets sent straight to the losers bracket. he does try to make a comeback in which he goes 3-1 against Axe, and following that he goes 3-1 against Cyrox. Now, here comes the real challenge where he plays against Leffen, and he goes 1-3.
Oh.
Unfortunately, because Leffen wins, he places just outside the top 8.
Yeah, he finished 9th place. Still a good showing for SFAT. 9th place in Melee singles. You know, it's not top 8, but it's also not top 48. Yeah.
Absolutely.
And then Melee doubles. So, to give you guys a little history here, usually we have our PewFat. So, Pew Pew U, not here at DreamHack, not sure why. However, there's also another team that's C9 Mango and TSM Leffen. But Mango decided he didn't want to have a beer with TSM today. He wanted to have a beer with CLG. And SFAT ended up teaming up with Cloud9's Mango, who is he's a smash god, a melee god. He's ridiculous. So how do you do?
One of the 4 gods.
Exactly.
So
how do you do?
Actually, you're in for a very pleasant time. He goes 2-0 against Crispy and Donksquared, or I should say they go 2-0. Then they 2-0 Honkid and Captain. You know what they do after that? They 2-0 Uncle Mojo and Jake 13. Then they go up against Cyrox and Gatsu. And what do you think they went?
2-0.
2-0. Unfortunately, though, they do come up against the combo of Mewtwo King and Plup, and they lose this 3-1. So this forces them into the losers bracket. Now, they're actually pretty far into the losers bracket just because of all their 2-0s, and they go up against Hungrybox and ESAM, or ESAM. And this, they actually win 3-1. Following that, they move on to 3-1 against S2J and Shroomed. This puts them into the losers finals against Android and Armada.
Oh,
so no,
that's a tough matchup.
No 2-0s, no 3-1s, but a 3-2. You know, you gotta
solid.
Mango, you're with the COG guy now. You got to bring out the heart attacks. This is what we're used to.
No clean sweeps allowed here. No.
But this puts a...
And so that means they go into the grand finals. Well, they're coming up as the losers, so that means they would have to win twice.
They do. This puts our boys against them. And they have to go any combination in which they get 2 wins. Fortunately, they do, because they go 3-1. And then, of course, the nail-biting 3-2.
Of course. It wouldn't be a CLG win without a heart attack. So that's awesome then. So that means that SFAT and Mango, they take first place at DreamHack Austin 2017.
That's right.
Awesome.
Yep. CLG does come away with a very, very solid win. And you know what? Congrats to both of them.
Yeah, they played their hearts out.
So that actually concludes the esports stuff that we've got for this week. Although we do have a little bit new with Twitch streamers. Tell me about them.
Yeah, we got 2 new Twitch streamers. So CLG picked up iCasper and Timorag as Twitch streamers. They were part of Team Main Menu. So I'm assuming they're going to be part of Team CLG now. I'm not really 100% sure. But I have seen them streaming, and I really suggest you guys go check them out because they are pretty awesome guys.
Well, my understanding, just by reading the CLG article that they posted, is that they will still be part of that team. They will just be streaming under the CLG brand.
Ah, cool. Right on. That's awesome. I mean, you know what? Hey, CLG, do you want to pick up a new streamer? I'll join. Oh, man. Yeah, so that's awesome to hear. iCasper, I believe, is actually a fellow Canadian. So I'm even more happy about that because I love me some Canadian streamers.
Of course you do.
Of course I do. Gotta support the country, man.
Yeah.
That's why Hotshot picks them up.
Yeah. You know what? There was another little thing that happened in Canada. I think it was last week. And you were there. Tell me about it.
Oh, yeah. So last week at the NALCS finals here in Vancouver, British Columbia, I got to attend both days. We did do that giveaway, and the one person that won ended up texting me that morning saying that their friend had bailed on them and they didn't need the ticket anymore.
Unfortunate.
So I ended up struggling to find someone for day one against with the Phoenix One Phoenix One and who did they play? It doesn't even matter because Phoenix One won.
They won against FlyQuest.
FlyQuest, that's it. Yes, those damn FlyQuest. So this game was actually pretty funny. If you didn't watch it, there was a pigeon in the arena, the MVP pigeon actually landed on Phoenix One's side behind our boy Inori. Inori is a fellow Vancouverite, and the pigeon sacrificed himself so that the Phoenix Ones could be reborn and come back and do the reverse sweep on FlyQuest. It was fantastic. The crowd was amazing. I got to see the guy with the CLG Faithful banner, and he was awesome. There was a lot of CLG jerseys in the crowd, and I got to high-five a whole bunch of people. I was repping Afromu. My fiance was repping Darshan all weekend, and it was just amazing. Like, if the LCS ever comes to your area, I highly recommend going because it's quite the experience.
It really is. I actually got the chance to go to semifinals for Worlds last year.
Nice.
And it was a fantastic experience.
That'd be crazy. Yeah. So I ended up bringing two friends with me that don't really play League. They've never really been to an eSports event, and they got so hype on these matches. Like, they don't know anything about TSM or Cloud9 or Phoenix One or FlyQuest.
Shit teams anyways. Who cares about them?
Yeah, exactly. Shit tier teams, whatever. They come in and they watch it, and they're just going crazy. You know, you get like the crazy final fight of C9 versus TSM. The whole crowd was wild. It was
one hell of a game.
It was. All right, guys. So I guess that concludes our show for the week. Thank you very much for stopping by, and we'll see you next time.
Yeah.
Peace.
Oh, there is one more thing I do want to mention before we sign off for the night. The CLG Black game. So I mentioned we would put the show notes in the VODs. If you're going to just look for highlights, I highly recommend going to Game 3 and going to the 24-minute mark. And just watch from there.
Yeah, maybe we'll put a specific link in there as well, timestamped for that amazing fight. It's hilarious.
It's great.
All right, guys, this has been Artrin.
And this has been Nefarious.
Peace out.
See ya.